What's good, YouTube? Sensational Sinceres here, and I'm back with another Tom Clancy's The Division vendor reset video. We're here for April 23rd, 2021's vendor reset. So let's get right into this and see what we got good for this week. For our first gear items, head over to Camp Hudson. Here the gear vendor has some operator gloves with the talent Savaged on there. And then also here we got a prototype Firearms Mod with 265 firearms and 4% signature ability resource gain. For our next gear items, head over to the base of operations. Here the Dart Zone gear vendor has a tactical mask with the talent Tenacious on there. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 2.50% smart cover damage resilience. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the weapons vendor. Here we got a heavy magazine spring with 4% critical hit damage, 4.50% reload speed, and 10.80% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the gear vendor. Here we got an operator mask with the talent Tenacious on there. And also here we got a prototype Firearms Mod with 265 firearms and 3,188 health. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the advanced weaponry vendor, and here we got an enhanced ACRE. Also here we got a military MK46. Also here we got a heavy magazine spring with 4% critical hit damage, 3% critical hit chance, and 10.50% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special equipment vendor, and here we got a police UMP45. Also here we got a classic FAL. Next here we got a black market RPK74E. Also here we got an operator mask with the talent Tenacious on there. Next here we got a Spec Ops Pack with the talent Specialized. Also here we got some Gunslinger Gloves with the talent Savaged on there. Also here we got a prototype performance mod with 4% mobile cover damage resilience. Also here we got a vertical grip with 48.50% optimal range, 4.50% reload speed, and 2.50% stability. And also here we got a 5.52 hollow sight with 7.50% critical hit chance, 4% critical hit damage, and 2% accuracy. For our next gear items, we're still at the base of operations. Head over to the special blueprints vendor, and here we got a military M9 blueprint with a gear score of 256. Next here we got a snub rhino blueprint with a gear score of 256. And also here we got an angle grip red blueprint with a power level 34. For our next gear items, head over to the cavern. Here the gear vendor has a prototype Firearms Mod with 202 firearms and 3% damage to elites. For our next gear items, head over to Kerman Station. Here the weapons vendor has a military Scar H. For our next gear items, head over to Camp Clinton. Here the special equipment vendor has a Historian. Next here we got a Liberator. Also here we got a Cassidy. Next here we got a Solcom Scar L. Next here we got an M870 Express. Also here we got a Solcom M1A. Also here we got a classic RPK74. Next here we got a Spec Ops mask with the talent Tenacious on there. Also here we got an operator vest with the talent Reckless. Next here we got an operator pack with the talent Relentless. We also got here some operator gloves with the talent Savaged on there. Next here we got a prototype performance mod with 7% turret duration. Also here we got a high velocity magazine with 7.50% critical hit chance, 4% critical hit damage, and 5.40% rate of fire. For our next gear items, we're still at Camp Clinton. Head over to the special blueprints vendor, and here we got a military M9 blueprint with a gear score of 256. We also got an electronics vest blueprint with a gear score of 256. Next here we got a holster blueprint with a gear score of 256. And also here we got a vertical grip foliage green blueprint with a power level 34. For our next gear items, head over to Wolves Den. Here the weapons vendor has a 5.52 hollow sight with 7.50% critical hit chance, 5% optimal range, and 5.50% headshot damage. For our next gear items, head over to Autumn's Hope. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5.50% sticky bomb explosion radius. For our next gear items, head over to Madison's Stand. Here the gear vendor has an operator pack with the talent Specialized on there. For our next gear items, head over to the Last Call. Here the weapons vendor has an M700 carbine. And also here we got an extended magazine with 118.50% magazine size, 4% critical hit damage, and 5.30% rate of fire. For our next gear items, head over to the Ward. Here the gear vendor has a Spec Ops Pack with the talent Relentless on there. For our next gear items, head over to the Firewall. Here the gear vendor has a prototype performance mod with 3.50% turret damage, For our next gear items, head over to West 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a Gunslinger vest with a Talent Rapid. For our next gear items, head over to West 34th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a Gunslinger vest with a Talent Reckless. For our next gear items, head over to West 39th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has the Operator Mask with the Talent Enduring. And then also here we got a prototype electronics mod with 265 electronics and 3,189 health. For our next gear items, head over to West 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a prototype stamina mod with 263 stamina and 3% skill haste. For our next gear items, head over to East 64th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone gear mod vendor has a prototype performance mod with 2% pulse critical hit chance. For our next gear items, head over to East 58th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone gear vendor has an operator pack with the Talent Specialized. For our next gear items, head over to the Park Ave checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone weapons vendor has a Black Market M60E6. For our next gear items, head over to East 46th Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a Model 700. Also here we got a prototype electronics mod with 266 electronics and 3% signature ability resource gain. And then also here we got a small grip with 18% critical hit damage, 2% accuracy, and 4.50% optimal range. For our next gear items, head over to East 42nd Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a prototype performance mod with 5.50% first aid ally heal. For our next gear items, head over to East 31st Street checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a Super 90. Next here we had a Gunslinger vest with the Talent Vigorous. And also here we got a Timer Suppressor with 7.50% critical hit chance, 2% accuracy, and 6% headshot damage. For our next gear items, head over to the 5th Ave checkpoint. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a prototype stamina mod with 260 stamina and 3,109 skill power. And also here we got a Timer Suppressor with 7% critical hit chance, 2% accuracy, and 2.50% stability. For our next gear items, head over to DZ2 Safe Room. Here the Dart Zone vendor has a Spec Ops Mask with the Talent Tenacious. Also here we got a Spec Ops Pack with the Talent Relentless. For our next gear items, head over to DZ3 Safe Room. Here the Dart Zone weapons vendor has an M700 Carbon. For our next gear items, head over to DZ5 Safe Room. Here the Dart Zone weapon mod vendor has an extended magazine with 115% magazine size, 3% critical hit chance, and 4.60% rate of fire. For our next gear items, head over to DZ8 Safe Room. Here the Dart Zone gear vendor has an operator vest with the Talent Rapid. Also here we got a Spec Ops Pack with the Talent Relentless. And also here we got some Gunslinger Gloves with the Talent Savage on there. Alright everybody, that's it for our Tom Clancy's The Division Vendor Reset video for April 23rd, 2021's Vendor Reset. Hope everybody tuned into it, found them something that they needed. Smash on that sub and like button, y'all. Appreciate that support. And I will see y'all with the next one, everybody. Take care, peace.